So many of us, myself included, keep it real, have spent too much time this past year in the digital space, whether it's Zoom calls for school or work or to catch up with loved ones, or maybe even binging on our favorite shows during lockdowns. We're all watching screens a lot more. But what is all of this screen time doing to our brains? And could the impacts be long-lasting, especially for kids?
One of the things that always surprises me is how many people love movies but spend no time reading books. Now, this is especially surprising to me because you stop to consider how many movies are based on popular books. One of the very sharp distinctions between books and movies, and one of the experiences that books offer that movies do not, is that novels allow readers to participate in the telling of the story in ways that moviegoers cannot. Now, allow me to explain. A written story absolutely requires a participation of the reader's imagination. Think about when a new character is introduced in a novel. We immediately create in our minds a visual representation of that character. We see who they are, a character of our own mental creation. We do the same for all kinds of scenes and situations in a novel. We have no choice but to supply the imagery of the story because the author can only do so much. He or she offers that sketch. Now, by contrast, when we go to the movies, all of the visuals are determined and supplied to us by the movie director. In a way, reading is more mentally engaging than watching a movie.
But what happens partly when you're reading a book is that, a novel, is that the words trigger representations in your imagination, and a lot of the information from which, a lot of what you extract the information from is actually your imagistic representation of the words. And that imagistic representation is richer than the words because it's informed by all of your knowledge about people. And so you know this happens because you go to a movie like the Harry Potter movies and you say, that's not how I imagined it, right? The probability that there'll be a one-to-one correspondence between your internal representation of the book and the movie is zero. And usually the movie is less rich than the book.
So, a rich little man with white hair died. What has that got to do with the price of rice, right? And why is that woe to us? Because you people and 62 million other Americans are listening to me right now. Because less than 3% of you people read books. Because less than 15% of you read newspapers. Because the only truth you know is what you get over this tube. Right now, there is an entire generation that never knew anything that didn't come out of this tube. This tube is the gospel, the ultimate revelation. This tube can make or break presidents, popes, prime ministers. This tube is the most awesome force in the whole godless world. And woe is us if it ever falls into the hands of the wrong people.
It takes about 45 minutes on average, depending on the studies. With old TV, now it's faster. The first time you watch it, to go into a lower dream state. I mean, they hook electrodes on. It's a fact. You go into a dream state, a subconscious level where everything's going through, just the flicker rate alone. You know, it's like the flashing light for hypnotism. Now, when they add in all the other stuff, it just compounds it. So what happens is, after you've watched TV a lot, within a few seconds, you go into that couch potato mode. And it doesn't matter if in the conscious mind you're aware of the New World Order. Now you're being bombarded, you're being acclimated. You can't help but smile back at the info babe who's making all these sexual overtures like she wants to mate with you, but it's really just a television set and a woman in New York or Chicago or DC or LA, and she's, and they're all laughing and it's fun, and they've got the cute guy for the women to like him, and it's all crafted and there's messages in the sitcoms and the dramas to condition you. And now they've got all these mainstream shows admitting world government secret groups, they're bad, the government's going to nuke you and false flag. That's only done to acclimate the subconscious so that when they hear us talking about the real world, people won't be shocked because they've already had that template run through their mind through all these dramas and through all these programs to where, I've heard of government nuking to get total control before, or releasing a bioweapon. That's on TV shows. So you're in a comfortable setting in your home, in your couch, watching TV with a beer, popcorn, or with dinner with your wife and children. And so you're watching horrible things, martial law, the MTV ads where trucks pull up and grab everybody and take them out and throw them in a truck and take them to a camp. That's done to condition you so that when you really see it, you've been subconsciously acclimated because the body has a physical memory of your hormonal level was at a good level, a restful level. You were in a comfortable position with comfortable temperature. So when your mind sees these you're meant, the way humans are designed through our development, that if you see people being grabbed and bashed and killed, that was real. That's people 50 years ago would get upset by that. It wasn't that they were wimps. It was that they were geared that when you're seeing blood and guts, you're supposed to smell it. You're supposed to have high adrenaline levels. It's combat. It's war. But now you're just going through a video game shooting people and zombies all day and raping prostitutes for extra cash in the games. And you're doing it in a comfortable position, so it's mass programming to where when the real thing happens, you're unable to respond because you've been programmed. You understand?
You eat like the tube, you raise your children like the tube, you even think like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs. In God's name, you people are the real thing. We are the illusion. So turn off your television sets. Turn them off now. Turn them off right now. Turn them off and leave them off. Turn them off right in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking to you now. Turn them off.